Okay. Hello, Ybor City. Well, it's great to be back in Hillsborough County, and I want to thank all of you all for coming here today. This is, I think, our second to last bill that we will be signing to wrap up this most recent legislative session. So we're going to do this. I have one more I'm going to do, and then that'll be that. We've gotten through hundreds. I mean, I think you guys did way more bills this time. I mean, like, 'cause it was a lot. I mean, we went through a lot. We had to crunch a lot of information and data. So we're doing, and this is a really, really great announcement. So we look forward to being able to talk more about that. First, I just want to recognize some of the folks that we have with us here. We do have our Lieutenant Governor, Jeanette Nunez, with us today. We have our new Commissioner of Education, Manny Diaz from Hialeah. Dr. Ken Atwater is hosting us, the president of HCC. Thank you so much. The president of the Florida Senate, Wilton Simpson from Pasco County, nearby here. Representatives, I saw Mello, I saw McClure, I saw Jackie Toledo. I did not see Beltran. Is he here? There he is. Okay, Mike Beltran. And then we're also going to hear from a student, high school student, Blake Dellenbach, about the changes, the positive changes, that we're making here for Bright Futures. We celebrated my wife's birthday yesterday, so she's doing very well. So I told her, I was like, you look just as good or not better than when we first done. And so she's done really, really well through all that she's had to deal with. And so we were happy to be able to celebrate it. I took her to see Top Gun Maverick, and so she liked it. We tried to do it before, but the kids were running around, so it just didn't work out, so we were able to do it. But I just want to thank everyone for wishing her a happy birthday. She's doing really, really well, so thank you all for that. So we have the #1 ranked public university and state college system in the United States, and that's been true by U.S. News and World Report for 5 straight years. I can tell you, as somebody that was born and raised in Florida, that was not always true. It's something that we've seen a lot of positive impacts from a lot of what policy has been in the state of Florida. We've had a lot of support from the legislature. We've had a lot of people volunteer their time to serve on these boards to make sure that these institutions were providing high-quality education. And so we're proud of that. We think that you should, if you're a Florida resident, Florida families have their kids graduate high school. They should have access to high-quality higher education, but it needs to be affordable. And I'm proud to say that since I've been governor, we have not allowed any tuition increases at our state universities. And so it's... There aren't very many places that you can go and get a credible 4-year degree and pay $6,000, $6,500, $6,800 for tuition. That's just not even in the realm of possibility in almost any other place throughout the country, but certainly it's not the case if you have a high-quality institution. And so we think it's very important that this remain affordable. I'm a big believer in higher education, but I'm not a big believer in plunging people $150,000 in debt with a degree in zombie studies. That is not a pathway to success. And so the idea that do whatever you need to do, mortgage your entire future just to get a piece of paper, that's bad advice. That's not advice that we provide in the state of Florida. And so it is important that this is something that's attainable for people and that is not going to have a massive millstone of debt around the neck of everybody that graduates from these institutions. That is definitely true in other parts of the country. Here for our state institutions, it's not true. And as proud as we are of that, we've also said from the very beginning that I became governor you know, a 4-year brick and ivy university is not the only way that you can be successful. There are pathways, very high demand pathways, where maybe you come to place like here in Hillsborough. Maybe you get certification in high school even and are able to go and do apprenticeships. And so our view is not that you need to do that, but our view is, you know, all of those pathways have opportunities where you can be very successful. And there are a lot of people that have chosen non-4-year pathways, people that have been very successful doing that without going into debt, and have actually had a much better future than some of the people that went deep into debt and had degrees that were not really functional or really helping them expand opportunities. And so we have done over $5 billion to expand workforce opportunities since I've been governor. Our goal was to be, by 2030, the #1 state for workforce education in the country. We were in the bottom half of states when I became governor. We are shooting up those rankings very, very quickly because we understand how important it is. And I've been able to go around the state really for the whole time, but particularly in the last 6 months, we've been able to go, we did in this budget and some of the other things we did, the biggest expansion in nursing opportunities than we have ever done in the history of the state, and probably that any other state is doing right now. They just announced, Manny was telling me, Tallahassee community, they're doing expansion of nurses because of the money they've been able to do. This is a very high demand field right now. It's something that if you go through this, you are going to have a job. Every time I see these nursing students, I tell them, you will definitely be employed, you know, once you get through this. And so we've done CDLs, commercial driver's license, because we need to have more truck drivers. We need to have more people that can work on the trucks. So we've been able to do all these different things, and it's made a really significant impact. And so the bill we're talking about today will have a huge impact both for people pursuing the 4-year brick and ivy pathway, as well as for people who are pursuing different pathways, particularly in conjunction with our state colleges. And if you think about, we now have about 120,000 students that this year will receive the Bright Future Scholarship in the state of Florida. That is affecting families in every corner of this state, and that's something that has been huge to make sure that everybody has opportunities. You know, one of the problems is, if you look at what the criteria is to qualify for Bright Futures, yes, you got to have a certain weighted grade point average and certain test scores, whether you're FAS or medallion. You know, those, it's a little bit higher if you're FAS, a little lower if you're medallion, but still, you know, it's significant, and you need to work hard to do that. But what you also have to do is do community service or volunteer hours, which, you know, in and of itself is a positive thing. You want people to be a part of their communities because, yes, we want you to be able to get a credential, but we also want you to be a productive citizen, and that involves more than just what degree you have and what job you have. So that's good. The problem, though, I think, is not every student has the luxury of being able to just do volunteer hours. I mean, we have students who come from lower income families who need to work to be able to help support their families. And they should not be denied the opportunity to qualify for a scholarship just because their socioeconomic background makes it more difficult to be able to do this type of volunteer work. And so we think that if you're somebody that is having to actually work, particularly as a high school student, to be able to help your family, that those hours should also count toward the community service hours so that you too can be eligible for the Bright Future Scholarship. And so, and we have also seen a decline in the number of high school seniors who have been eligible, and I think part of the reason is because of that. So what we don't want is to take a scholarship and make it out of reach of a student just because of their family circumstances. In fact, those are the students that probably will benefit the most from having these. I mean, we have people, this is not an income-based program, and so we have students who have the merit and they qualify and they deserve it, that they get it, but who come from more affluent families where stroking a check for 68 would not really be as big of a burden on them, and that's great. I mean, and we want people to do well, but we want to make sure that these scholarships are really helping to lift people up. And so the bill we'll sign today, House Bill 461, will expand eligibility requirements for the Bright Future Scholarship, and it will include this paid work experience. This will allow somebody that works 100 hours to be able to apply that and be able to qualify for any of our Bright Future programs. So we have 75 hours for Medallion and 100 hours for Florida Academic Scholarship, and it counts for both of these. And so this will be something that's very important. If you think about it, if you look at our state universities and state colleges, if you get these scholarships, the chance of you needing to go in debt at all is really low. To the extent you do, I mean, it's basically when the tuition's paid for, yes, you got to pay books, you got to pay living expenses, food, some of that other stuff. Some of those expenses you would have no matter what you're doing, to be frank. So this is really, really important, and this knocks it out for those FAS scholarship. You get the 100% of the tuition just paid for. That's a really, really big deal. So you no longer have to decide between working a job to support your family or qualifying for opportunities in the future. You're going to be able to do both. And what we also are able to do is build off the success we've been able to do in terms of our state colleges. And so right now with this situation, you will be able to apply the work requirements as well, or the volunteer with work, but you're now able to get 100%. If you're a Medallion scholar under this bill, you will get 100%, not just 75%, of your tuition paid for at our state colleges. And so when you're talking about helping people go into those pathways, Medallion scholars, I mean, these have been good students. I mean, so to give them 100% at these state colleges, that's going to make a world of difference to produce more nurses, to produce more people in these vital fields where there is a deficit of qualified people right now. And when that happens, that means that people are willing to pay more to be able to get you. There's a great opportunity here. We just got to make sure we have the pathway. So I think having the work requirements or the people that are doing jobs satisfy the volunteer hour service, I think that's a reform that was long overdue. I think it's going to make an impact. But then on this state college front, I mean, to be able to get 100% of tuition at any one of Florida state colleges as a Medallion scholar, the 75% is generous, but this way it's just totally off the top. Many of the people who go to our state colleges grow up in the area. They go to their local state college, and so really tuition is the main expense that they're looking at beyond what they're already doing in their everyday life. And so I think this is going to make it easier for people to be able to get in and be qualified in things that are really going to make a difference. And so we've been a big supporter of Bright Future since I've been governor. We wanted to make sure that that it's something that Florida families know is there, and then combined with us holding the line on tuition, I don't think there's a single state in the country where post-secondary educational opportunities are as affordable as they are in the state of Florida, and that's. And in an era where it seems like everything that we need to purchase is going through the roof, that is even more relief for these families, because it had been when we had low overall inflation, academic inflation was way, way, way higher than what the traditional inflation rate was. We've kind of turned that on its head in Florida, and we've had really no inflation in terms of the tuition, which has been really, really good. And that's going to be very meaningful for families, as they're looking at, yes, the bright futures, hopefully you just get that and you do. But if you don't get the bright futures, to be able to hold the line on tuition when, your grocery bills are going up, your fuel bills, all these other things are going up, families have to make tough choices when you're in this inflationary environment. And so we're really doing our part here to hold the line and to make sure that they're not going to have to choose between filling up a gas tank and allowing their kid to go to a state college or a state university. So job well done. We're going to hear from some folks, and then I'll sign the bill at the end. So first, we'll hear from our Lieutenant Governor, Jeanette Nunez.
Good morning. Thank you, Governor, and I want to thank all the elected leaders that are here with us that have fought for so long to make Florida the #1 state in education in so many facets, but in particular tuition affordability. And today is a great day for Florida students, and I can tell you as a mom of 3, 2 of which have gone through the state university system and have availed themselves of the Bright Future Scholarship, it is absolutely critical for our students. We know, as the governor mentioned, how difficult it's been with inflation and 40-year high. The cost of living has accelerated at rates that many Florida families are struggling with. And so for us, our administration has made sure to prioritize education and things like financial literacy, making sure we have career and technical options, and making sure, again, that our tuition remains affordable, because so many students in Florida look to the future, and the way for the future for them is through our colleges and our universities and through career and technical opportunities. So as we look to education being the key pillar of success and the driver for students to be able to live long, productive lives, we are increasingly seeing how unaffordability within tuition is becoming a problem. Students being drowned in student debt, families trying to pitch in as best they can. So this bill, I think, is really key for those students that have shown that they are going to put the skin in the game, that they're going to work to be able to assist, to be able to achieve their ultimate goals. So signing today's bill, House Bill 461, again, a huge thank you to those legislators that worked on it. I believe that it's a testament to our administration's continued commitment to prioritizing education and to making sure that we meet students' needs. And so I want to thank the governor and everyone that's involved in this important initiative. We recognize that for us, work and sacrifice of so many students is something that needs to be addressed and needs to be rewarded. And with that, we continue to push forward policies that are going to make Florida the free state of Florida, but also the education state of Florida. So thank you very much.
Okay, Senate President Wilton Simpson.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. This is a very important today. As someone who grew up on a farm and worked from age of 10 paying Social Security, this would have been my kind of a bill had I chose to go into university out of school. And it was something that's very important to this legislature and governor to make sure that we're rewarding people who have to work for a living or who choose to work for a living. And I feel like this legislature was a blue-collar legislature. All the programs that we put in place through the vocational schools, through the community colleges, was a real honor to be in this position at this time. And in addition to those things, we fully funded a lot of infrastructure projects through this state. A lot of these folks that are getting these jobs today are going to go right to work right out of high school, because you can get a vocational certificate coming out of high school. If you need an additional 2 years, you can get that now for free if you work for it, and you can use your work as part of the leverage for that. So, Governor, I really appreciate your leadership, and it's something we're really proud to serve and see this happen. Thank you.
Great. All right, and now we have a student, Blake Dellenbach.
Hello. So first and foremost, I really just want to say thank you. Not only for this bill, but for all that you've done for me and my fellow students. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so I'm Blake. I am a senior in high school. I do online school at Florida Virtual School. I've actually been doing that for the past 6 years now. I love it. We have a great online program. And I have also had a job for the past 3 years where I work at my family's ice cream shop, which has been really cool. But it also does not give me that much time to do community service. Although I do get involved in my community, a lot of my time is spent either doing my schoolwork or at the shop. So this really means the world to me because I am very much looking forward to going to a public university in Florida, with the goal being UF. So this just opens up new opportunities for me that I just couldn't even imagine. So thank you very much, and I very much look forward to attending a public university thanks to you. So appreciate that. So.
All right, Commissioner of Education, Manny Diaz.
Good morning, and thank you, Governor. And again, thanks to the leadership of Governor DeSantis, we have access for all of our students, and it creates opportunity. But I know you notice the theme here. All of this under Governor DeSantis' leadership connects. It connects with the opportunity to have an education that gives you a job in the workforce without being saddled with debt. And now it connects by allowing students like Blake, who are working 40 hours, not to have to give that up and to have the opportunity to go on to the #1 higher education system in the nation. And that includes now 100% for those that want to go to state college under this program of Bright Futures that leads to a job. And think about it. You're having access, regardless of what your socioeconomic status is, to the #1 education system in the country and going directly into the workforce without debt. I think that speaks volumes of Governor DeSantis' leadership, what the legislature has done, and we continue to be the education state, and Governor DeSantis is clearly the education governor. Thank you, Governor.
All right. All right. I usually don't know the date, but I know it because yesterday was my wife's birthday. All right. You guys get the waterproof marker. I know how kids are with permanent markers. All right. 27. All right. There we go. It's a good one. Who else? Okay. All right. Who else? Where else? Okay. Well, you know you're big enough to do that. Any other little kids? Where? Come on up here. There you go. Anybody else? You guys want anybody in the crowd? What about kids? Any kids? Where? You guys. Good luck to you. Thank you.